What's going on, everyone? Vince the Engineer here. Today I'm going to share with you the garden that we're building behind me here. It is almost complete. I've been working on this for a couple months now. I want to tell you all about it, so stay tuned. All right, so here is our garden. We are about to place soil inside each one of these boxes. This is what is called, at my nursery, it's called their premium mix. So it's got compost, topsoil, mushroom compost all mixed in it. Meant to be great for planting vegetables, even great for planting grass. But that's what we're going to be putting in each of these. I need to fill this with about 2 yards of material here. But let me show you how I built these boxes. The wood here, these are 1x8 made out of cedar wood, held together with the Simpson strong tie brackets at the corners. I was a little bit concerned about the thickness being a little too thin and potentially bowing, which is why I added this cross brace here. I didn't want to use pressure treated wood because I didn't want the chemicals to be in contact with the soil that we were going to be using to plant our vegetables. The cedar does a good job of rot resistance when it's in contact with soil, when it gets wet. It does not need to be stained. It is also bug and like termite tolerant. Like, you know, bugs do not crave this wood. So expecting this to last a long time, so long as it's thick enough to withstand the pressure of being filled and pushing out. Now, I do have about 2 to 3 inches of stone around the perimeter here of these two guys that will somewhat equilibrate with the soil we put inside. So that will help keep these boxes kind of true and square. Hopefully, that's the idea. We'll see how it goes. Now behind me here, these are 4 foot by 4 foot boxes that are basically 16 inches tall. So the 1x8s, I have them stacked on top of each other. And I opted not to go with any kind of cross bracing. These are 4x8 with the cross brace in the middle. Instead, what I did here was I did have a concern about movement between the top panel here and the bottom panel. So I used basically a mending plate with a whole bunch of screws in there to prevent that from happening. We'll see how that holds up over time. Simpson strong ties in the corners with tons of screws. So that's how we opted to do that box. This box right here is our smaller 2 foot by 2 foot box. Since the distance between here and here was only about 2 feet, I didn't feel a need to put any mending plates in between those two boards. And then what we're gonna do, we have these pots, these nice little pots that I picked up here that are basically gonna be placed in the middle here. We can move them around as needed if something's not working out for us, but just wanted to fill this space here, make it look pretty nice. In the back, you know, we may put some furniture back here, maybe a hammock, not quite sure yet. So for those of you who have done a lot of gardening work and maybe have built some of these raised garden beds, I've noticed a lot have used like 2x6s or 2x4s, you know, much thicker material. I'm interested to hear from you. What do you think of this? You think this is okay? You think this is a good setup? You know, let me know in the comments down below. Really interested to know what your thoughts are. I am not a professional at this. Just wanted to share with you how I built these boxes, and you know, we'll see how it performs over the years here. But let us know in the comments below. Would you have done it this way? What other tips, tricks, or advice would you give to anyone else who may be reading the comments? Let us know in the comments below. So about a year ago, if you were to look at this backyard here, you would have seen an entire jungle across all of this. Wherever you see this dirt, right, that was the limit of English ivy. There were like 10 trees back here, tons of poison ivy, and just, it was a jungle. It was a complete jungle. We did hire a tree company to come out and clear all of this out. Then I put the fence in, and then I was trying to figure out a way to level this area enough to get these boxes in place. Now, I tried leveling the soil that I had here, but because there are so many roots, I mean, you can see some of these roots here, these ridiculously sized roots, and no matter where you dig, you are either getting into roots from the ivy or from some of the old trees. So what I opted to do instead was I purchased these 6x6s and basically created sort of like a box out of the 6x6s, and I had to elevate the sides here because the ground over there is a lot higher than the ground over here. So the idea being, let me sort of build a retaining structure and then bring in a whole bunch of fill dirt. So below this fabric here is fill dirt. No nutritional value, just meant to fill. And, you know, basically had a thinner layer of it over there. And as we approached this area here, it got thicker and thicker. So we probably have, where over there we have maybe like an inch of fill dirt. As we get over to here, it's in some places up to maybe like 5 inches, 6 inches towards the back there. And then we put the fabric down. Now this is a weed barrier fabric. I'm not expecting it to perform as well. For weed prevention, we will have to control that some other means, because this rock that we put on top, it does have a lot of dirt and sediment that had to be washed off, and all that stuff does is it gets down in on top of this fabric here, and it will be enough to grow weeds. But what I did want to do is have some kind of demarcation fabric or separation fabric, if you will, to separate from the soil below, the fill dirt below, and the rocks above. So this area here measures 550 square feet. In the back here, to help retain the soil and the stones, I did put these 2x6s along the fence to help retain that area. So this is 550 square feet total. And we brought in 6 yards of fill dirt. So 6 yards of fill dirt and another 3 yards of stone. The reason why I did the fill dirt instead of the stone is really because of cost. The fill dirt was $28 a yard delivered, and the stone, this is 3/4 inch river rock, was $120 a yard. So trying to save a little bit of money here, and this is where it looks. This is what it looks like today. So over here, what we're going to do is we are going to take some of this weed fabric. I have some more of that. We're going to kill this grass here, mow it down, and place that fabric down basically to this yellow line here, if you can see that string line. We may plant some bushes here, kind of like maybe like blueberry bushes. We may do the same over there, not quite sure yet. And then we do have more of this, basically this premium mix, this topsoil compost, mushroom compost mix that we will spread over here, or maybe we'll plant a few things, and then maybe top it off with some mulch, make it look nice. We'll also use some of that mix to cover this area too. Probably not going to seed it this year. I haven't decided on that yet. We'll see how the weather holds out. We're going to be in the summer months in a couple weeks here, so not sure how successful I'll be with that, but stay tuned. And we'll see how that all comes along. And then to finish this off, I've got this fence, because the dog, there she is over there laying under the shade there. The dog loves to eat these rocks. And not only does she love to eat these rocks, she also loves to dig. So what we need to do is actually fence this off completely. So I bought these. This is from Home Depot and Lowe's, Yard Link / Vigoro. They make the same exact fence. I bought like a couple panels from Home Depot under the Vigoro name, a couple panels from Lowe's under the Yard Link name. These are those like no dig fencing systems with a gate. That's the gate right there. That basically will follow this string line all the way across. That's about 40 feet there. From this post to the post behind those boards right there. And that will fence everything off here. So, you know, everything basically from this 6x6, you know, along that plane will be fenced off all the way across there. Hoping it'll look nice. And it will have a nice gated entryway into the garden right here, you know, to be able to go in and harvest and maintain and weed these vegetable planter boxes. really looking forward to how this turns out over the season. Now, being that it is so late in the season, we haven't started any seedlings or anything like that. So we're probably going to be in a position to spend even more money and buy potted plants from the big box store. I've seen them at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. Those are the stores around us that carry that stuff. So we'll probably have to go and pick some of that stuff up to start planting here. Going to be a lot of work, but we're really looking forward to it. Really excited about this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for joining.